You realize that they have help for that on campus, right?
All aboard!
Hey! Huh? Oops! What? Wow! Yeah!
And welcome everybody to episode 6.
Count.
I hope that number's right. Of Where Streams Come True, the show where we suffer through the entire good and bad of Disney Plus for your and our enjoyment.
Mainly yours.
Mainly yours. Well, this one was good.
Yeah.
I am, as usual, your host Collins. Joining me, as usual, are Doug and Cameron, and we have a special guest today. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
My name is Andrea Baltazar. Most people call me B here at Weber State University, and I am the assistant professor of digital media. So I'm excited to be here today.
So
excited to
she's the
have you.
one who gets to cancel the show after this episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
We will, so when we say B, we'll be referring to you, because that's usually what we call you.
Yep.
So
My loving name, I love it.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
It was weird at first when I heard
Yeah.
it.
I was confused.
I was confused because I just called you Baltazar or Andrea.
Yeah.
Anyway, so for this week, we had the pleasure of watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. As per the Kurt Russell wheel that we spun. This is what we ended up
We
with.
were so close to
We were
watching.
so close to
just-
something good.
Yeah,
But
like Miracle.
This is the
I love
2017 film by director-writer James Gunn. Set to the sounds of awesome mixtape number 2, Marvel Studios' Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 continues the team's adventures as they unravel the mystery of Star-Lord's parentage.
I feel like they should have called
It's
it
a short
Mix
summary.
2. Guardians
Well-
of the Galaxy Mix 2 instead of Volume 2.
Volume 2, you think so?
Yeah.
Looking
Right
at
off
it
the
up
mixtape.
close, it is
Yeah,
very...
but then, the
much a
first one was
font.
called Volume 1,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It was just Guardians
It
of
was
the
just
Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe I'm thinking because I wanted to wear it today. I have a Guardians of the Galaxy shirt, and it says Volume 1.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
You should have wore it today.
Yeah.
Is it because you had other
Well, it's
stuff?
because I'm teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they did sell, they sold tapes
Yeah.
that were like labeled like awesome mixtape
Yeah.
number 1, number 2.
Yeah.
I remember my sister had number 1, and
That's
my
cool.
dad thought that it was like an old thing of my mom's, and was like, "Who gave this to you?"
How'd you
And
find
like,
that?
yeah. And it's like, 'cause it's like all these songs about love and stuff. And like, I haven't seen that. And he was mad for a bit. Like, no, like it's merch from a movie.
That's so funny.
So, initial thoughts for this movie. Have you seen it before? And what was your experience in the theater, watching it the first time, and then now with your second viewing? We'll start with our guest, B.
Yeah, I have seen it. I believe I did see it in a theater before, and I loved the first one, so I was really excited to go watch this one, and I loved it as well. And then I saw it this past week like 2 or 3 times. One was, for this to kind of like acquaint myself with the film, and then just so that I can like pick up on little things while I was doing other stuff. But I love this movie.
It's a good one.
It's so good.
B's
It's
more
so
dedicated to this than we are. We only watched it the one time.
We just watched it once. Yeah.
Well, as a film, someone coming from a film like production and film studies background,
Yeah.
where I'm conditioned to watch a movie multiple times, especially if I have to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we should.
At least twice.
Maybe we should start doing that.
Dude, I don't have the time
Please
to do
no.
that. Cameron.
Our next
It's
movie
just-
is going
it's
to be
just
like
great
really
practice.
terrible, and then
It's
we have to
great
watch it like
practice.
5
Dude,
times.
But it's great
the wheel's going to be
practice.
awesome.
Yeah, no spoilers, but the wheel's good.
Yeah, it's
the
gonna
wheel's
be
Oh,
good.
okay, well I don't
It
know
is.
what the wheel is, so
Well, maybe if
Good.
you were in class with us, you'd know.
So
what? What
this
is that
was-
supposed to mean?
For me, we'll go counterclockwise.
This way.
I think this is the second time that I've seen it because, like all Marvel movies, I'm not good at seeing movies. Currently, the only time I go out to a theater to see a movie is like if it's a sequel or part of a franchise or like an adaptation, which is horrible because I miss a lot of good stuff. But it was just a new Marvel movie came out, so I saw it, I enjoyed it, and then I never watched it a second time until now. But it felt good to have a reason to go see it again because there's a lot that I enjoyed about it that I think I had forgotten about.
Yeah. So I saw it in theaters as well. And I remember in theaters just dying. Like, I was laughing so hard throughout the entire movie. And we're talking about kind of the most recent time we watched it too, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. you
So
talked about
this
both.
time watching it, it felt like a lot of the jokes kind of fell flat because there was only 3 of us in the room rather
Right.
than a theater full of
yeah.
people. But overall, like I same thing as you. Like if there's a Marvel movie in theaters, more often than not, I'm gonna see it. The only ones I didn't go see I did too.
Cameron.
Invite me back when that happens.
When I first saw this movie,
Hope I'm still here when that happens.
I did not like it at all.
As attested by
Well,
your
not
reaction when you
at all,
got
but
it.
yeah, I really didn't like it because all of the humor was just garbage.
You're garbage.
So I was like, "What is wrong with you people?" And then I didn't want to see it. And then of course I saw it the second time, and I appreciate it a little bit more.
That's good.
Mostly
That is-
just
that's a
because
win.
of the soundtrack. But yeah,
Well, I mean, that was like, I didn't think the second one's going to be good. Going to the, watching it in the theater again. I didn't really want to, but I think I went with like my cousins who were just like, let's go out and go do something. All right, I'll go watch it. Because usually the sequel's never better. And I wouldn't say that this is necessarily better than the first one, but it brought its own gravitas to the storyline, I felt like. And the first one, music was so good. And I remember presenting on that movie, like talking about that movie in one of my grad classes, and about how music is its own character.
yeah.
In that first film, and like how could you do that again for volume 2,
Right. And
which I think it kind of touched on, and it did, but it did other things really, really well.
Yeah.
It did. And Guardians is one movie, like Baby Driver did this as well, of having a lot of diegetic music be the soundtrack. Of like
Diorama?
which means that it's music that's in the movie, like in the world of the
plays
movie.
well.
Like
Okay,
when they're
okay.
listening to Blue Sky at the
Yeah.
beginning, like those are actual speakers
It's
in
happening
the world.
in the universe
Yeah.
as well as on screen. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
not just-
usually even when
Got it.
it transitions from one to the other,
Yeah.
it'll start that they're listening to it. Like Star-Lord will be listening to a music on his headphones, and then
Uh-huh.
he'll take the headphones off, but the music will continue
Yeah.
for the scene.
Okay.
And I think
I don't do well with big words.
they did a good job of it.
Well, I like that it wasn't just Star-Lord's character that brought in the music this time. It was like the whole
Right.
It was
Everyone had access to it.
everyone
Yeah.
Was
The best
a
part is
music
just
buff of
Groot
it.
in the very beginning
Oh, yeah.
putting the missing,
Yeah.
got it.
So if
Baby
you'd like
Groot's
to
awesome.
get into the full scope, the full recap of it,
Oh
I mean,
gosh.
it's your show.
strap in. It's a long movie, but I'll get through
Let
this.
me get
as-
my pillow.
I'll get through this as quickly as possible. So we begin with a flashback to Missouri, Planet Earth, 1980. Meredith Quill, played by Laura Haddock, is riding in a car listening to tunes on the radio with her boyfriend, played by Kurt Russell.
Very odd CGI for that.
Yeah.
Well,
They de-aged him very well. It was
De-aging.
just weird. She
I
looked
don't
so
know.
much younger than him.
yeah.
She was like 17 is what it looked like. And I even asked this while we were watching it. And this is tangent.
Yeah.
Come
This
with
is
me.
well. This is good. I was gonna bring this up anyway.
Was that actress excited to be sitting next to Kurt Russell in a car and then making out with him?
Possibly.
Dude, I bet,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Kurt
It's in-
Russell.
Yeah.
yeah, it is an
Yeah.
interesting acting challenge to
It absolutely is.
be acting alongside Kurt Russell, but you have in your mind you have to pretend that he's
He's young.
Kurt
Yeah,
Russell.
young
But
Kurt
you're
Russell.
acting with old Kurt Russell with dots on his face.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
yeah.
got to
Yeah.
be just so hard.
But she did a good job.
She did for the,
I mean,
2
that's
minutes.
why
we saw
that's
her.
For
why
the 2
actors
minutes.
get paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
Because I mean, nowadays everything is CGI.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we're talking about any scenes with Rocket,
Yeah.
Or
I'm
Groot.
pretty sure it's
The-
not Bradley Cooper with a bunch of dots on his face.
In
Yeah,
the in the behind the scenes stuff
Is
that
it
I've
really?
seen, it's
It's
no,
not.
it's
It's
just
Sean
not. Yeah,
Gunn.
Mocap him?
It's Sean Gunn in a green suit.
I thought for
doing
sure they
it.
would have mocapped.
Well,
for
a lot of
Rocket.
the times they just kind of have him like pretend that he's there.
Yeah,
And just
like
kind of
unless
add it
if
in.
someone's interacting with him, then it'll be Sean Gunn or someone
Yeah,
else in
like-
just
or like a
a
tennis
green
ball on a
morph
stick.
suit. Yeah, but like there's only a few times where someone physically interacts with
Portrays
him.
him.
Yeah.
Huh.
So Meredith and Kurt, I don't know what his name was to her. She just calls him Spaceman.
Spaceman.
They go behind a Dairy Queen
right.
and run into the woods where the man shows Meredith a small alien seedling, which he says will eventually be all over the place. And then they kiss.
I like how it doesn't freak her out.
Yeah.
I would have ran away immediately if I
Yeah.
were her. I would have been like, nope, see ya.
It was very much like, okay, we're watching a Marvel movie now.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
this,
But
weird.
I mean, she already had that relationship with him, and she was already enchanted by his presence being there.
guess.
So, for her, whatever this guy said, she just accepted it because she loved him. That's how I took it.
I took it as like, man, you're not that bright, are you? You're not smart.
Maybe
You're
a mix
not
of
that
both.
smart.
But that's
Yeah.
what love does to you.
You're not
You're
wrong.
stupid.
You're not wrong there.
So 34 years later, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Peter Quill / Star-Lord, played by Chris Pratt, Gamora, played by Zoe Saldana. Drax, played by Dave Bautista, Rocket Raccoon, voiced by Bradley Cooper, and Baby Groot, voiced by Vin Diesel, are standing on a platform as they try to secure Anulax batteries from their latest employers, the Sovereigns. The Guardians have their weapons ready as they gear up to battle an interdimensional beast known as the Obelisk. And that's when we get the whole blue sky opening credits stuff.
No, that's a really cool scene.
I really enjoyed it.
I love the way that they showed that fight scene. Mm-hmm. With you just see Groot dancing around and the fight's going on around him. Mm-hmm. I thought that was awesome.
Well, what was great about that definitely is our reintroduction to the characters we already know.
Yeah.
But if you haven't seen the first one, you still get a sense of who each of these characters are and their role within this group.
Yeah.
You know?
I like how Gamora, she like flies over with I think she's reloading her gun. She goes, Groot, get out of here. You're going to get hurt. And he's just like, I am. Yeah, he waves.
He just waves at her.
Hi. And then flies off.
Well, I love that Groot, it stayed a baby, right?
Yeah.
At the end of Volume 1, he was a baby, and here he is a baby again. Mm-hmm. They didn't age him. Mm-hmm. You know, like, magically he just grew up between the time, we got to actually see him as baby Groot.
It is. I do
And then
wish
they
that
ruined it
we'd
at the
done
end
more.
by making him grow up real quick.
Yeah.
Although, like, timeline-wise, when he shows up next in Infinity War, it is, like, several years later.
Oh, is it
Is
years
it really,
later?
though?
Yeah, because Guardians 1 and 2 take place right after each
boom,
other
boom.
within a few months.
Oh, okay.
And then it's, like, 4 or 5 years until
I didn't
Infinity
realize
War.
that.
Yeah, and you knew with the time frame too because like the Zune,
Yeah.
like that was like early 2000 or like late
right.
2000s.
Oh, that explains.
no
the
one
Zune.
uses Zunes now.
I didn't know that was like a
I thought the
time
Zune was a
piece.
joke, saying here everyone
This is
on
what they're
Earth uses
using.
this,
Like-
but this junker just found it.
Yeah, I thought it was like a joke,
That's
as in
what I-
like he went from like this
That's
really
what
old
I thought.
technology to
Yeah.
like just slightly better, even though everybody still has all this better stuff.
Yeah, that's how
I thought that was
interpreted
Yeah,
a
and
joke.
it does lead us into that moment with him and Peter Parker in Infinity War where he realizes that Earth is like way past where he is
Yeah.
in like pop culture.
Yeah.
But so we have that awesome scene. I remembered that scene like I remembered only like the fight scene parts of it. I didn't
Yeah.
remember like the perspective of Baby Groot dancing and everyone fighting.
Oh, I thought
Out of focus in the
I
background.
loved it. And then he
So
chases after the little rat thing.
Yeah. He hates those things.
Oh yeah, it's so funny.
After defeating the Obelisk, the Guardians bring the batteries back to the Sovereigns and meet with their High Priestess, Aisha, played by Elizabeth Debicki. In exchange for the batteries, the Sovereigns deliver Gamora's sister Nebula, played by the wonderful Karen Gillan, to the Guardians so that they can take her to Xandar and collect the bounty for her. Before they leave, Aisha talks down to the Guardians, but Peter in particular, noting his half-human, half-alien heritage, gives him something she deems reckless. The Guardians leave with Rocket swiping some of the batteries for himself.
Yeah, I love when he's talking to Drax. He tells Drax like, "Hey, you want to buy some batteries?" And Drax just, full volume starts laughing.
I really enjoyed the lighthearted Drax that we got in this movie.
Yeah.
Because he is a pretty dark character in Volume 1.
Yeah, he is.
Where-
He's very angry.
He's
Where
very
this one,
angry.
he's still angry. He's still
Yeah.
very angry, but he hides it.
He's
I
definitely
don't think he
gotten...
hides it. I think he's gotten to a point where he's found his people again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
He's no
He had a
longer
lot of
in-
hang-ups.
another part with Drax is where he goes, "The hide's too thick. I'm gonna go get it from the inside."
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
And then Gamora takes it out, and he comes out. He goes, "I have single-handedly defeated this creature."
yeah.
The hide's the same thickness on the inside
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
it is on the
exactly.
outside.
But it's
I mean,
so
I
funny,
wouldn't
yeah.
have known that.
It's just,
I would have assumed it was weaker on the inside.
it was just such a funny line. I love
yeah,
Drax.
So
He's
good.
awesome.
I think Drax in this one was more of he was like everyone's brother.
Yeah.
And he was a really good support system in this film.
he was the big brother for
Everybody's
sure.
friend.
He's talking to Peter, and
But
he
also,
goes,
Yeah.
you need to find a girl who dances. Gamora doesn't dance.
Yeah. You need to find someone who's pathetic like you.
Yeah.
But like, he doesn't mean it in an
No, he
insulting way.
means it in the
No,
most
he's
loving
like-
way
yeah, he's-
possible.
so sincere
Yeah.
that it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, Drax is. I love Drax, and I thought it was in this movie, but it's not. Where he's like, "I move so slowly, I'm invisible."
Oh yeah, that's an Infinity War.
Such a funny Drax line.
So on their way to the planet Xandar, the Guardians are suddenly met by a fleet of Sovereign drones, all going after them for the stolen batteries. The others figure it was Rocket that took them, and they're all pissed off. The drones start attacking as Rocket tries to steer the Milano towards a wormhole that will lead them to another planet. In the distance, another craft passes by and starts to destroy the Sovereign drones. A man appears to stand on his ship and wave to the Guardians. The Guardians escape the drones but must crash land on a nearby planet.
The others don't figure out it's Rocket. It's
Rocket.
Drax that
Drax just says it.
everyone.
Yeah.
Just
Drax
outs
is
him.
just like, it's this.
It must be because he stole those batteries.
I love the how it shows how the Sovereign are fighting,
With
because
the-
it is very much the arcade.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
everyone's standing.
When there's
behind-
one left and
Yeah.
everyone's standing behind him.
Yeah,
You
and
can
then
do it.
and then Drax just goes out and takes him out.
They even had like the whole Space Invaders like sound
Yeah, like
effects.
the
Well,
Yeah.
and then they're all rooting him on. His drunk gets taken out. He goes, "Man, you suck at this."
Yeah.
It's just like total arcade from that.
and we get the probably this probably will be my moment of the movie.
Well, don't
but
tell it yet, then.
A joke that I really liked
There you
then
go.
was when I don't remember who says it, but they're going through the asteroid field towards the wormhole.
Oh,
and someone's
yeah.
like, "Oh, you need to be the best pilot in the galaxy to get through that."
Yeah.
And then Rocket and Star-Lord at the same time say, "I am." And look at each other and
Yeah.
like they're
Good
fighting
thing
over
I
it.
am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
was
love
really
that.
funny.
You know, I don't know. I have like mixed feelings about Nebula, and I think it's the way that the character's played is kind
Right.
of too like I don't know. It's just
it's
really
too
it's
angsty.
it sounds forced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Karen Gillan as an actress.
Okay.
She probably just should have stayed in TV. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it is your opinion. It's
That is
wrong.
I mean, if you
But
if you
I think the character, and what I was trying to get at is I
Right.
love that they had that vegetable.
That
And
was
then
really
you know,
funny.
you're like I'm hungry.
I
you
didn't
know,
get the
like
It's not ripe
joke.
yet.
yeah. But then and then like yeah, and then Gamora's like it's not ripe yet, and then Drax comes along and he
Move
kicks it.
away
It's
from
not
me?
ripe
Yeah,
yet.
I did.
And then later
Yeah.
on we get. You know, she
She-
finally
she-
gets it, and then she's like, "It's not ripe yet."
It was weird because I remember saying at the beginning, thinking like, "Oh, she really lightens up by Endgame," and then
Not really.
and then
I
but
recently
well, and
watched
then by the
Endgame.
end of the movie, she's lightened up a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and in Endgame too, you kind of get the dichotomy of the two different nebulas
Right.
doing their thing. So
Yeah.
it's very confusing.
She does have a bit of a heel turn, but it's not that bad.
It's not too drastic. No.
Yeah,
You have to remember, she is probably what 70% robot.
yeah,
You'd think. Something like that.
mostly. Yeah, we had a discussion of exactly how much of her is robot. And
Yes,
like,
we did.
what was
That
replaced
a-
and what was not. Like
that was a
obviously the arm
discussion.
was, the brain was for sure,
Yep.
but like
An eye, one of her eyes.
one of her eyes was. Yeah,
Yeah. But it was weird watching this movie. It was. It felt like out of all the movies we've watched so far, this one was the one that we were the most like while it was on, we got distracted the most.
Yeah.
with like
Like
conversations
from like
and
little
stuff.
things like within the film.
No, just like something would happen and we'd have a conversation about something and miss a solid 2 minutes of the film.
yeah, but it's something that we've all seen before and we're all familiar
we've all
with.
seen the movie. I think
So
that-
we
that is
could
probably
miss
why.
a line of dialogue and
Yeah,
still
we-
know what was going on.
Right.
Yeah, we knew what was going on the entire time, even though we
Which is
weren't
why we
paying
should
attention too much.
probably watch it multiple times.
I mean, and that scene in general just shows the dynamic of this group in the beginning of the film in contrast to where it is later on, but that it very much is their family.
Yeah.
And Nebula is not a part of this world,
right.
nor do we show that she even wants to be a part of this world, but how she does fit in towards the end.
Right. As the Guardians observe the wreckage of their ship, and the other ship that saves them descends, stepping out is Ego, who reveals himself to be Peter's father. With him is his empathic assistant Mantis, played by Pom Klementieff. This scene hit me this time, and it probably hit me in the theater too, of Drax being dragged behind the crashing ship and just smashing
he
into
gets
trees.
wrecked.
Yeah.
And just thinking like, how tough is this species of
Yeah,
alien that he
seriously.
is, that you can survive that and just be laughing the entire time?
Oh,
Like it just tickles him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anytime,
That was awesome.
anytime something happens to him, he's having the time of his life.
He loves new experiences.
Yeah, he enjoys
And that
it.
certainly was one.
I
He's
don't
a
know.
funny
His hide is as thick as the monster that he thought he just killed Single.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought so. The part where Ego comes out and says
Yeah.
like, "Hey, I'm your father," I felt like that was way too quick.
Oh, same.
I would have rather had him somehow, some other way, convince them to go to the planet Ego, and and then kind of Peter just slowly puts two and two together.
Mm-hmm. It's like the first 20 minutes of the movie we get
and
the
then
"I am your father" reveal.
where Ego's like, I'm gonna kill you. I would have liked that to be like, wait, you're my father and you want to kill me. I would have liked that more. It seemed very much. There's a book I read in high school called House of the Scorpion, which is about this kid who, as you go through that story, you learn that he's a clone of this old guy, and the guy is just cloning himself to get new organs. Like he's being groomed to be harvested for organs, but and that's what this felt like with Ego and Star-Lord.
I can kind of see that.
It felt very similar.
I remember-
to that.
I mean, it's classic Marvel writing
Yeah.
to just do that.
It was the line where he says like, "Come with me and I will explain in depth your parentage." And I said, "Oh, that's what some people wanted The Last Jedi to be." But yeah.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate, and I do agree that's kind of like a common Marvel trope, like, "Oh, I am your father" right away. But at the same time, I feel like this is what Quill wanted his whole life, and all of a sudden he's getting it.
Oh, okay.
And it's more like, who the F are you? Because he rejects it at first, but Gamora's the one that convinces him, maybe this is true. You never know.
Yeah.
It reminds me. I don't know what it's
And
called.
he's also a god, so he's like
Yeah.
super arrogant. And that's part of his character, like, I'm your father, come with me.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if it's a storytelling trope or it's just a thing in D&D, but it's like the trope of taking a character and giving them what they ultimately want way sooner than they think they would get it, and then just seeing what happens. So like in this
Yeah.
case, like
That-
he's
that's
he's
what
been
it
looking
is.
he's been looking for his father, and you just like, okay, boom, here it is. Now what?
See, I didn't feel like he was looking for his father though.
He's always
Yeah,
been, but he's
well-
looked for his father his whole life.
But I just don't. I didn't get that message in the
Right.
movie.
Yeah,
in
to
the
go-
movie, it just felt more like the first movie. You don't really.
Maybe it was
talk
more for
about
the
his parents
audience
at
then,
all.
like giving the
And then-
audience what they thought they
yeah,
wanted.
and then
Yeah.
the second movie, he's like, "Oh man, I wish I could find out who my dad was." Yeah, I wish that had been more addressed in the first movie to give us a primer.
Yeah,
for
they
the
don't
second
reveal that
movie
his
of-
dad is an alien
I
until the
don't-
very end of the
yeah.
first movie.
Yeah.
I don't think they know whether. I also think that's a studio thing where they don't know whether they're going to even make a second one or not.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't even know what the heck this story's going to be
Right,
about.
and they
Yeah.
also like it takes a lot to get stuff greenlit for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't. This is just kind of my gripe.
It's
well,
a good
I agree with you because when
Thanks for agreeing with me.
yeah when Peter goes to whatever that planet's called.
Ego.
ego,
Yeah.
the living planet.
When he goes to that planet, it didn't seem like it changed him all that much. He was just kind of like, "Oh yeah, I have my dad," and that's it. And then it went into the
know, he-
conflict, and so it
he
didn't
got
seem
kinda
like
brain dead.
like with what you were saying with D&D, how it's like they put him in this scenario of they're getting their dream more than or quicker than they thought they would get it.
Yeah.
And then let's see what happens. Like nothing really happened.
True.
You know what I mean?
I don't
So
know, he got
it
to
felt
play
a little
catch.
weird.
You got to play catch with
You got
this
to
dad.
play catch with, like,
we'll
a
talk about
plasma
that
ball.
scene
That
in
was
a
kinda
bit.
Cool.
You're giving me the evil eyes.
It's not the evil eye.
That's the
Are
I
you
don't
saying
agree
that? Are
eye.
you saying that Peter Quill doesn't change throughout the movie?
It didn't seem like he really did.
I feel like he did a lot,
Uh-oh.
Ooh, interesting.
and that's because, well, I mean, what is the core of this film?
That's the thing. I'm not really sure. It just seemed like he was just
Core-
kind of like he found his father and then he ended up
No.
not liking him and killed him,
He-
which
so
is
the core is
exactly what
accepting who-
Gamora was
that
saying.
his
Are you even
father-
talking about the? Oh my gosh, I can't say their name because Slice Stone kept messing it up in the bloopers. The Ravengers.
The Ravagers, yeah,
Ravagers,
we're
okay.
we're
This
we're
whole
up there
film
next.
is about family.
Ooh, good catch.
And it's about family all around.
Yeah, it's accepting who your family is,
And
and they may
Right, but
not
he
be the
accepted it from the beginning and then ended up killing his
he
father
accepted
in the end.
he accepted that Ego was his dad, but he didn't accept who his real family was.
I guess what I'm saying is
Until he-
Which
accepting
I guess
the
that's part of
family
like the
you choose.
conflict with him and Rocket
Yes.
is a big
Yeah.
part of that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
It'd be like me and Collins having a disagreement and then accepting, you know what, we are brothers and we like each other. a
We're
little
not,
Yeah.
and we don't like each other.
bit. I mean, I can get up.
but they're the ones that are like the closest.
Yeah. on that bombshell, we'll move on. On another planet, Yondo Udonta, played by Michael Rooker, and his team of Ravagers have fallen on hard
Isn't
times.
it Yondu?
Yeah, Yondu.
You said Yonda.
You did say it weird.
I'm sorry. He is staying in a
him a
nearby
break.
hotel where Howard the Duck is also in attendance.
Yeah, Seth Green.
Yondu spots his old comrade, Stacker?
Just say Sylvester
Striker?
Stallone.
Stacker Ogard, played by Sylvester Stallone,
Yeah.
who has exiled Yondu from the Ravager team for child trafficking. Among the Ravagers is Taserface, played by Chris Sullivan, who thinks the Ravagers need a new leader, along with Kraglin, played by Sean Gunn, who has since also come to question Yondu's leadership. After, that was weird, Yondu finishes talking to Stakar, there it is, the Sovereigns arrive and Aisha approaches Yondu with a proposition.
I loved when they showed up because they had the red carpet.
The red carpet.
And then what was really like
The
it
blue
stops,
carpet.
it gets stuck.
Was it blue?
It was blue.
Okay.
Blue.
You guys need to watch the movies a couple times.
They had the carpet and they brought it and then it gets stuck.
Yeah.
So they figure it out
Yeah.
and then it runs out.
And then, yeah.
And I just thought it was so funny that it ran
And
Well,
out.
you can see in the background,
yeah.
it goes all the way to her ship.
Yeah, no, they used the whole, like, that is what she walks on. That is all she walks on. I just thought it was really funny. I'm sorry that we got the color wrong.
It's blue.
B is hating this podcast right now.
It's
I'm
like you
surprised
guys
it wasn't
didn't watch
gold,
the
though.
film.
Well, you know, we
know what
got
I
should have
about
been gold.
40%.
It should have
Like
been
they
gold,
are,
yeah.
No, I think if it was gold and that would have looked too weird.
Well, she
Having a
literally
different
walked on
color.
everything that was gold. She was gold. Everybody who was a clone of her was gold.
But why would
what
they
I mean?
waste
Yeah.
gold going to another planet?
I don't know. Why would you waste blue carpet?
Because it's easier to
It's
manage.
cheaper than gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that... Wait. Peter is still in shock to be finally meeting his father. Ego explains that he sent Yondu to pick up Peter after his mother died. Peter still also doesn't understand why Ego left Meredith in the first place. He invites Peter and his friends to his planet, which Peter is hesitant about until Gamora convinces him to join his father. Peter, Gamora, and Drax go with Ego and Mantis while Rocket and Groot stay behind to fix the ship and keep an eye on Nebula.
The way Rocket fixes the ship is
I had
so
never
cool.
noticed the 3D printer gun before.
It's,
Yeah,
it's
it
not
was-
even a 3D printer gun. It's like a magic 3D printer gun.
Yeah.
He was like spraying it.
Did
or
you watch the
something.
film, B?
I don't remember that part at all.
Yeah, he's like got this gun where he's just like spraying the ship and it's like creating
It's
Oh, no,
real
you're
wall
right,
of the
you're
ship.
right, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like it had like the gun
It's like
has
a pressure washer.
yeah, like the gun has
Yeah.
the memory of the ship and it's just 3D printing.
Yeah. We picked up on something that B didn't,
No,
guys.
you know what? I thought
It wasn't important.
This is where my dyslexia comes in. I thought you said that they 3D printed a gun on the ship,
Oh, no.
not 3D printed
Oh,
The ship.
the
3D.
ship.
Yeah, they were
From a
using
gun.
a gun.
The gun
to
was
3D
the
print it.
printer.
Yes.
Darn it, I was so excited. I was so excited.
Well, I mean, you guys didn't catch it either, though.
No, I didn't.
Because we were watching it, I was like, "Did you guys see the 3D printer?" And he's like, "What?"
I mean,
And they're both like looking.
in my mind, I was watching it and seeing it happen. I just went, "Yeah, that makes sense." Like my reality meter was already turned off.
True.
At that point.
Yeah.
So it's
There's-
just like, sure, why not?
I mean, there is a lot of stuff
sense.
like that in Marvel. Like the
Yeah,
the
oh,
way
yeah.
that hyperspace works is really
Awesome.
awesome. Yeah, where they just have
Yeah.
like jump points and people just like come in through this like
Yeah.
hex thing.
Yeah, that
and
was way
it,
cool.
it is assumed that everyone just has a translator chip that so they can just understand. That's why everyone's speaking English. If you didn't know, yeah, that is in canon that everyone just
Oh.
has. It's just a thing that people have
In space.
in space. Yeah,
Not on
it's
Earth.
just a translator chip. Yeah,
That's cool. I wish I
Yeah.
had one of those. Like a new
So,
life.
and then the Avengers go to space. They don't have to deal with that.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
I mean, Rocket probably just says, "All right, sit down, Thor. Move your hair. Let's do
yeah.
this."
Just
Sure,
yeah. It's
whatever.
like comes with the eye that he sticks in his head.
yeah, it's already. It's just part of the eye.
It's just like little stuff like that I like about the Marvel universe.
Dude, the MCU's awesome.
Again. So on Ego's ship,
No, please
the
no.
three talk to Mantis, who shows off her powers by seeing into their minds. She lets everyone know that Peter has feelings for Gamora, which Drax finds hilarious.
She told your deepest, darkest secrets. Ha ha. Do me next.
It's good. And then she doesn't get allowed to do.
Gamora's like,
Gamora.
"I will kill
Yeah.
you."
Yeah. It's
Makes
pretty
sense.
good. Just, letting us know what her powers were.
Yeah.
And then the joke with her antenna.
Yeah.
It's a short scene. We'll move on from that then.
Yeah. How are we doing? Time.
We're doing good. I didn't start a timer, so
That's not
So-
good.
the universe
We're
will
doing
decide.
good.
The Ravagers come across the woods where the Guardians crash landed. Most of them end up walking into traps laid out by Rocket until Yondu shows up. The Ravagers get Rocket and Groot, but when Taserface plans to get Peter, Yondu isn't quite as willing to turn him over. Nebula then breaks the crest on Yondu's head to knock him out. She aligns herself with the Ravagers as
a
they take
fin.
Rocket, Groot, and Yondu prisoner.
It's a fin, not a
The
crest.
first one is a crest, the second one is a fin.
I just want to say I love that scene.
Where he's
With
just
the traps and
murdering all
everything.
these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone.
I
But
like that too.
I really like that a lot,
Yeah.
except I hate that all of a sudden now they're just caught and everyone lived.
Oh, I'm sure there were dead
Oh,
bodies
yeah.
left on that planet.
But there were way more.
Oh yeah, all of
people that lived,
they all
even
show
though-
up. Yeah.
they all pretty much show up. On
Yeah.
back
Did any
on
of
the
them
ship.
actually die?
Yeah, it did kind of
Yeah.
make the traps seem kind of pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And why have the traps if no one
Well,
really died?
yeah, because like there's
No,
the,
there
there's
were
the
two
there's
that
this
did, at
well there's
least.
the syringes, which
Those were just tranks.
could have just been tranks.
Yeah.
The electricity could have just knocked them
But
out.
no,
Yeah.
no, they were two Ravagers that shot each other.
Okay,
Okay.
then that's two. Yeah.
So there
And
were
then
two,
there was
there were
those
two
bombs that he
died.
planted on everybody's heads.
Well, then
The
those
tasers.
Oh,
those
it's
just,
tasers. That's right.
They were just tasers.
Every time
yeah.
I see it, I'm like, it's a bomb.
Yeah, I say that's why they.
And
That's
then
why
I
that
forget
one
about
guy
it.
calls himself Taserface.
No, that's
No,
not.
it's
gets
not.
tasered by
Because he did.
I didn't look, but I think in the comics there's no reason either.
No, there's
It's
not,
just-
dude. The comics make
But he was
no
probably-
sense.
he-
The comics are worse than the movies.
He was
Yeah.
probably a more important villain in the comics than
I think it was just a
no
Taserface.
Taserface.
Taserface. Oh,
We're still on Taserface. This is how this show goes.
okay, that's fine.
Yep. So Ego brings everyone to the planet that literally lives through him, as Ego is a celestial and his consciousness is the core of the planet. He explains to the three that he came up with a human form to travel the galaxy, and he came to Earth and fell in love with Meredith, but could not see her so often because it would take up a lot of his energy. Peter continues to hold hostile feelings for Ego for leaving Meredith alone to die. As Peter grows more emotional, his hands produce powerful energy that is linked to Ego's own power. Ego shows him how to control and use it.
It's also, I think that when he holds the Infinity Stone in Volume 1,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was more so his god power coming
Yeah,
out that
oh,
he
yeah.
didn't know he had.
Mm-hmm.
And but that scene in particular where they're passing around this energy ball is to satisfy
I had a-
the a
The
father
desire
and
to play
son
catch.
playing
Yeah.
catch.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did have a theory watching that scene while we were watching it, because watching that scene is weird.
It is
It
a
is.
weird.
It is a
scene.
weird scene, and I think
is.
it was intentionally weird.
Yes.
Because you're supposed to think like something's off here, because like it's like yeah, he talked about playing catch with his dad, and he's actually getting to do that. But I don't know if it's the music, I don't know if it's the way it's shot.
No, it's
just
totally awkward.
something about it just feels
To
weird,
me-
and it feels disingenuine almost, which
Yeah,
is
to
which is
me-
accurate.
To me, the whole planet felt too perfect. You know what I mean? I
It's
think
too
that's
on
what
the
they were
nose.
going
Like,
for.
they-
was.
yeah.
They
was,
they ask Mantis like why is there nothing living on here, and she's like, oh, does a dog allow fleas?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, do you know how many micro things are living in your eyebrows right now? Like
But also,
there should be stuff.
Well, it's so weird because and then
But those
you know,
micros could have been the plant life. There was a ton of plant life.
But the
on
plant
that
life
planet.
was him.
I mean, there was also Mantis's line of how Ego thinks about his progeny, and everyone on the ship, they think they're just talking about Quill, but we know he's talking about more
Because
than
that
that.
can be
Yeah.
plural.
Yeah, progeny. Yeah, exactly.
And also like calling it progeny
Yeah,
is
exactly.
very
creepy.
yeah, which is
It's
accurate.
also
to-
Mantis too.
Yeah.
Mantis is pretty creepy.
Yeah.
Mantis is a weirdo for
But
sure.
I love her.
She's
Yeah,
so funny.
I love her.
She's so ugly. Because that's how you only people view them.
You're hideous.
That was a good scene.
That was such a.
I remember like the first time I saw it, I thought that there was something going on with her and Drax. But the
Uh-huh.
second time seeing it, I didn't get any like romantic stuff between them at all.
I
don't
did
know
a,
if it-
I did a little bit. Not to the extent as the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh, they're gonna end up together.
Yeah.
Now it's more of just like it's a platonic.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Especially
he's
since
married
we-
the whole movie, though, guys.
His wife's dead.
Yeah, she's
Is she dead?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Oh.
super
That's
dead.
why he's so mad.
That's why he's
she
trying
was-
to kill Thanos
she-
and Ronan, dude.
Yeah.
Are
Totally forgot
are
about the
you a
whole
Marvel
first
fan?
movie.
You remember what Thanos
no,
does to
baby.
every planet? He did that to Drax's planet, and he was the half that survived. His
Yeah,
wife
he
not.
was on the.
Well,
good-
the
he was on
entire
happy
movie, he
path.
talks about his wife as if she's still alive.
No.
Because he loves her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Because
figured
like that's why I think that he's gotten closure of it because
She's
he's
still
talking
alive
about
in
her
his
like
heart.
she's still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. You people. I swear.
This is going great.
So back on the Ravager ship, Taserface and his goons start ejecting those that are still loyal to Yondu into space, except for Kraglin, who only watches in disbelief as his friends are killed.
That's because he's too big of a wuss to say anything.
Yeah. When Taserface boasts of his greatness and fearful name, Rocket only mocks him. Nebula enters and suggests that the Ravagers turn their captives into the Kree for the bounties on their heads. She She also makes other demands, including a new hand. Kraglin brings her to a ship, and she uses to get off the Ravager ship and to find Gamora. I might change my moment of the movie. I just remembered his interaction with her before she leaves.
Get a nice
Yeah.
necklace.
A nice necklace, or maybe a hat.
Yeah.
Something to make the other girls
say,
go.
woo.
That was really funny.
I love it.
And
Well, this is where we get the family aspect in the B story, because the B story is the Ravagers trying to. It's Yondu trying to gain control back of his ship.
yeah.
Right.
But then Rocket is now captured, and them trying to get free to either go back to the family or be Ravagers.
Yeah. And they really, I don't know if debase is the right word I'm thinking for. I think so. Yondu in this movie, where they bring him. He was like one of the secondary big bad in the first movie, and in this one they established like he's been kicked out of the Ravagers, and then his own crew kicks him out.
So you're saying they depower him.
They
Basically.
depower him.
They
Yeah.
nerf him.
That's
a good word.
yeah.
Nerf.
Where like his station,
Nerf this.
he was like, oh, he's the leader of the Ravagers
Yeah.
in the first one, but you
He's a
find out
big
like
deal.
no, like all the Ravagers hate him
Yep.
except for his own crew, and now his own crew hates him as well.
Yeah.
It's a mutiny. But this is where we kind of like humanize him, and this is like that basis of why he's always taking Quill's side.
Right.
This is where that build-up starts to begin.
Well, it's also it gives you another character to root for,
Yep, exactly.
and I mean,
He needs to turn into a good guy,
Yeah.
quote unquote, by the end of the movie.
Yeah. But here, this is where he relates. He aligns himself with Rocket,
Yeah.
and they relate to one another.
It's because they're the same person.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I actually really like that part where
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there yet, but we will. But you can talk about it.
No, I can't.
You like that part.
No, I can't talk about it yet. Continue on.
So jumping around again, we get to the part after that where Mantis and Drax form their somewhat bond, and Mantis says that she needs to tell Drax something important. But Gamora interrupts things, and Mantis keeps quiet, instead just taking the two to their rooms, where we first get to that's like the first direct something is wrong here moment.
Yeah.
Where she's like, there's something I really need to tell you, and then Gamora's there's like, because she's warmed up to Drax.
Right, but
not to
Gamora.
Gamora.
Gamora has scared her,
Yes,
which
It's fair.
Gamora scares everyone.
yeah, I'd be absolutely
Yeah.
mortified. right now.
exactly. After that, the Ravagers throw Rocket and Yondu in a cell, while they take Groot for their own entertainment. Yondu mentions how he was a Kree battle slave before Sakaar pulled him out and made him a Ravager. When Rocket asks about why Yondu kept Peter around, he insists it's just because Peter was small enough to fit into spaces where others couldn't.
Good for thieving.
Yeah. The two then resolve to work together to break out. They get Groot to come by, and Yondu tells him to get a prototype fin for his head. After
Oh.
bringing a bunch of wrong items,
A
Yondu gets his
Let's not
fin
talk about
from Sean Gunn's character and gets himself and Rocket out. Yondu sends the arrow through every mutinous Ravager they come across. The three board an escape ship with Kraglin, but not before Yondu sets the whole ship to blow up. Taserface gets hit with flames, but he manages to notify Aisha to Yondu's whereabouts before he goes down with his ship. The other four must go through 700 jumps to get to Ego's planet.
One thing,
Yes.
the part where Groot shows up with the underwear. Can we
Yeah.
all just kind of appreciate how nasty that underwear was?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
look, and like how nasty Yondu's teeth are by comparison.
Oh yeah, he's just a disgusting
He's a
creature.
disgusting. They're all pirates.
Well, I mean, as Rocket said, I felt a warm feeling there until you showed that nasty bleep. Those nasty bleep teeth of yours.
yeah.
Anyway, continue. I just
And
wanted
he
to
severed,
point out how
severed,
gross the
severed
underwear
toe and all that.
was. Yeah, real bad.
You think that was it just me, or was the amount of murder a little excessive?
Oh,
in
there
this
was a
scene?
lot of murking going on.
Completely excessive.
but in a
also,
good way.
I think in a yeah.
He sends a little spike through
Well,
the
it's-
entire ship.
It's very vindictive of him.
Oh,
to
yeah.
just like
That's still his core character.
yeah.
But we know that he's changing now. Yet he's got to get rid of all the bad crap.
Yeah, and like it's a lot more personal than just blowing up the ship and leaving.
No, it is. It's very much.
It's
more
very personal because you are like
he is using the weapon.
using
that he is
one
used.
arrow to one by one murder everyone.
Take that a step further. He is using the same weapon he's probably used to save those people.
Yeah.
Numerous times
To just
to
kill them.
end them
And we get-
immediately.
Oh, and the moment where he stands in front of the computer screens.
Yeah.
And then he just sees where everyone is
and just goes through the
ham.
entire ship.
You think he has to hook up that thing like Bluetooth or something
It connects
to make it
the,
like connect.
That's what the
connects to
fin. That's what the fin
band.
is.
Well, I mean, it's a different controller now. So you think he had to like connect?
He had
it
to
in some
pair.
way?
He had to he had to pair it to a new device.
I wish we would have seen that part.
He's like, no, holding it closer doesn't help.
He has to do a whistle, like a specific tone.
Yeah.
And he keeps missing it.
I really like that scene in general. One, Baby Groot having to find things, take him to the tailor, and he's now wearing a tiny Ravager suit. But that scene, though, where they
Poor
kick him,
Groot.
and
They're
oh,
kicking him,
well,
and they're pouring
and they're
drinks
pouring
on him.
he's too cute to kill. Bring him to the tailor.
They're pouring freaking beer on him and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, man.
He's just a baby.
Yeah.
Dude, we need like another list of all the cute characters in these movies.
Cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, 'cause we've had Baby Dory, and
Yeah.
I think
Baby
Baby
Dory.
Groot's better.
you think Baby Groot is
Yeah.
better?
Yeah, I do.
We do certainly get more of them.
We get more of him, but also he's just.
When you
I-
take away the ability to speak, it somehow makes him cuter.
I would rather hang out with Baby Groot than Baby Dory.
Yeah.
I hate
He
reminding
can-
people of stuff.
He can kill people.
I do that in some of my classes with people. Remind them of the same thing over and over and over and over again, and I
Yeah.
get tired of it. Mm-hmm. So, Baby Groot, all the way. He can come hang out with
I
me.
just want both. In my
I agree. I agree.
Make them fight each other.
What? What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Doug.
The camera moves away now.
So back on Ego's planet, Gamora sees Nebula coming down on her ship, shooting at Gamora. As Nebula crash lands, she jumps out to start fighting Gamora. Nebula managed to overpower Gamora, but realizes that she never wanted to prove she was better than her, just that she wanted to have a real sister. Gamora's successes as a warrior led to their father Thanos mutilating Nebula, leading to her resentment of Gamora. The two of them form an alliance as they come across a cavern filled with hundreds of skeletons.
And then there's also that scene where Gamora just straight up picks up one of them
cannons
ship
from the
guns
ship,
and
yeah.
just starts blowing the crap out of her ship. And I'm like,
How
where's all
strong
this?
is... Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
Peter and Ego continue to bond. I'll talk about Exposition Hallway after this because we get a
Let's talk about that one the second time we see it, because we see it twice.
Okay. Ego tells Peter that as long as there is light in the planet, Peter will retain his powers, as well as immortality. Mantis sees that Ego has Peter wrapped around his finger, and now that he knows about his own powers, she rushes to wake up Drax to warn him that Ego's intentions are now clear.
I mean, this is where Peter really, he's accepted that that he has found his father, and now he just wants that relationship. That's what.
Yeah, and he's willing to do anything for it.
Yeah.
And I think, in a way, it sets up the stakes of the consequences at the end of the movie by saying, like, as long as the light in the planet exists, you will have powers and you'll be immortal.
Yeah.
But if that light is gone, then you will not be. So it sets up
It does.
what Peter has to lose and what he has to give up later.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's a lot of
There's a lot of meanwhiles. in
continuous things going on
Meanwhile.
at the same
there.
time.
A lot of parallels.
Rocket, Groot, Yondu, and Kraglin make it to their destination. Rocket starts to gloat that he wants to save Peter just to prove that he's better than him and can hang it over his head. But Yondu shuts Rocket up by stating how scared Rocket really is and how he puts on the tough guy thing as a facade. They then set off to take on Ego.
well, they missed the important part where
Of like, you are me.
Yondu says, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Which, it recontextualizes a lot of how Yondu is acting.
No,
in the
yeah, it definitely
two movies.
does. It definitely does. He's really just terrified of everything.
Well, and then I don't know if it was in this scene or if it was in the scene before when they're in the cell, where Yondu does explain to Rocket why he never took Quill to Ego. It's never on screen.
Because he found out what was happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that
I thought that happened when they were in the laser ship.
Well, like
Yeah,
he
that
says
was
that,
so
like,
weird.
yeah,
Okay.
he had hired me to bring all of his kids over, which I think helped.
Yeah.
Because at first, like, I was thinking, like, he got kicked out of the Ravagers for picking up Peter. Like,
Yeah.
that's a
makes
little,
sense,
that's a little,
yeah.
like,
It's
it's a little much.
excessive.
But yeah, that's a little excessive. But then you find out, like, no, he brought hundreds potentially of future bodies, alive bodies at the time, of children to
Creatures.
this guy who then died. Like, yeah, I'd kick you out. Even
That
if I was-
also shows how dumb Yondu is.
Yondu's
I mean,
not-
hundreds
Yeah,
of
he said that
times
he was
before figures it out.
young and
Well,
he,
that and you
He
have
was
to
scared
you have to
and-
imagine too. He's young and he needs money. Like he just got
Yeah.
out of being in an army. He's probably broke.
yeah.
Well,
You
he's
know?
not really like in need of money though.
But at that point, he may have been.
Well, he was just like a startup Ravager
Yeah.
at that
Yeah.
point.
Like he probably didn't even have his own crew.
Yeah, I mean,
was
he
just
had to
flying
deal
around.
with
Definitely
the
was a
Kree. The Kree are
captain, though,
nuts.
right?
Not at that point, I don't think.
Yeah, because he had to have flown that ship
Just 'cause
several times to
just because you
Ego
can
and
fly a
back.
ship doesn't mean you're a captain.
Yeah, that's what a captain is.
No, a captain means you have
Literally,
a crew
you have
under
your
you.
own ship.
You have, but he probably didn't have a crew under him the first couple times.
I'm not
We will
looking
continue
this
this discussion later.
up. We will. Ego explains to Peter that
And
he
I will
wants
win.
to make. So we return to Exposition
Sure.
Hallway.
Yes.
Ego explains to Peter that he wants to make what he calls the expansion. He went around the galaxy to thousands of other worlds to plant the seedlings to grow his power of the galaxy and cover the planets in an extension of himself. He impregnated women from those worlds and produced many children that Yondu delivered to him. But when they did not possess the same power of a celestial, Ego had them killed, and now their bones are what Gamora and Nebula found. Peter just so happens to hold the power that Ego is looking for. Ego also reveals that he put the tumor that killed Meredith in her head so that he would not have to feel the pain of being apart from her. Peter snaps out of it immediately and begins to unload his guns on Ego in fury.
That was a
in
cool
response.
scene.
In response, Ego takes Peter and controls him to start spreading the seedlings across the planets, causing mass destruction. To top it off, Ego crushes Peter's Walkman and the Awesome Mix Volume 2 that his mother left him. Yeah.
But I love the scene or the part of the scene where he just blasts.
Yeah, he
him,
just like
and he
not
regenerates
even
and
blinking.
just starts yelling. I thought it was so cool.
It wasn't like a what?
Well-
You killed my mother? He just hears it and immediately just bang.
Well, and it's a really cool
I
way
like
of
that,
showing
yeah.
that Ego. Yeah, hey, he's an evil guy. Like he looked kind of scary walking around, like bits of him not
Oh,
there
yeah.
anymore, regenerating. It made him look. It made him look like a monster.
He transforms into David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good moment.
But yeah, I thought that was a really cool, really good way of showing, hey, he's not a good guy.
Yeah.
He most certainly is not.
You're not wrong there.
You're not wrong there. So Rocket, Groot, and Yondu meet up with the others as they gear up to stop Ego. Unfortunately, they are also met by a fleet of Sovereigns out to kill him as well. Peter fights Ego's human form, but his entire planet self fights back. Mantis is able to put Ego to sleep while the Guardians take care of the others. They fight back against the Sovereigns and eventually destroy their whole fleet with a bunch of lasers. Meanwhile, Rocket builds a bomb using the batteries he stole, which Groot takes and runs off with. Mantis gets knocked out by a fireball, breaking her hold on Ego and reawakening him. As the others try to get safe, Ego begins to consume them. Peter continues fighting his father using his celestial powers. Now freed, Groot then finds Ego's brain in the planet's core and he sets the bomb to go off in 5 minutes. That is a lot of stuff in one paragraph.
Yeah. They touched on
Pretty much
not
everything.
Not a lot. Well, they cut out a lot of stuff that happened too.
I mean,
Like, this is where
I-
Yondu says,
I cut
use your heart.
Use your heart.
Um,
He may have been your father,
everyone's
but he wasn't
looking
your
for
daddy.
tape.
Oh, that's not yet.
That
The
that
tape thing
scene
was
so
hilarious.
I
funny.
love that scene.
It went out.
Let me
it
go
was-
check.
It went on longer than I remembered in
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah, 'cause
I thought
he-
he just left and came back, but no, you hear him asking
He
everyone.
asked did you ask Nebula?
Like, shoot.
Well,
Yes.
she was- no, yeah, he's like, yes. No, well, he was right next to Yondu. She heard. Well, you just answered my question.
What? If anyone's gonna have tape, you would have tape. Why do you not
I
have
have
tape?
to do everything
This
around
is my
here.
point. Yeah.
And at that point, Groot's just like, I'm
Groot's
sick
gone.
of this. And grabs
Yeah.
it.
He's like, I got it.
The whole, okay, which button do you press? I am Groot.
Mm-hmm.
No! But in my mind, it's like, why did you put a second button?
Yeah, why did
Yeah. That's
well,
what I was thinking.
he was
too,
building
yeah.
it out of scrap, so maybe the only
Yeah,
scrap panel he had 2 buttons.
But he could rip that button off.
I don't know. It was funny.
It was really funny.
That's exactly why. Because
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's
Yeah.
funny because of movie.
Although, like,
reasons.
And
knowing
ticking
Rocket,
time, it's a built-in ticking time bomb because we don't know if Groot will press the wrong button or not.
and I think like knowing Rocket and knowing the unnecessary stuff that Rocket has done in
That's
the
true.
past,
Or
it
asked
is
for.
very much in character for him to put a immediate self-destruct button in there, but never intend to use it.
Yeah, that's true.
But then leaving it to a baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is so irresponsible.
Well, it's because the baby can fit in places that other people can't. It's good for thieving.
Exactly. Which is like that line was put into action with Groot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the callbacks, right? So Quill brings that up while they're around the campfire, and how Drax thought that Yondu was his father, but he's blue. You know,
Oh,
we're
it was
nothing
so
alike.
funny.
You know, but you
look
look just like
identical.
him. You're like, what? And then it comes back to Yondu saying the same thing to Rocket.
Yeah.
And then here's Baby Groot needing to go save everyone
Go
with
somewhere
his
where
tiny body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I'm
just
telling you,
I had
it's
for-
all
I
about
had-
family.
I had forgotten that was a callback of
Yeah.
Groot being small enough to make the plan happen.
I am Groot.
And, Star-Lord turns into Pac-Man.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was
I
so
love
great,
that.
yeah.
Just waka waka waka.
I'm gonna build a Pac-Man, and there he builds
And
a
then-
Pac-Man.
and then he builds
to
a
eat his
Pac-Man.
mother,
Yeah.
Chekhov's
Yeah, and
Pac-Man.
he lists off all the things that he wants to. He's like, I'm gonna do some crazy stuff.
Figured it out. It was Creative Cloud. Creative Cloud was open. It was trying to update everything.
Oh yeah, that'll make
Yeah.
the computer crap its pants for a minute.
So, Drax, Mantis, Gamora, and Nebula make it back to the ship while Rocket gives his last spacesuit to Yondu, knowing he cannot save both him and Peter. Gamora tries to go back, but Rocket stops her so he doesn't lose two friends at the same time.
Rocket stops everybody.
He stops
then,
everyone,
he
yeah.
He
saves-
tases Gamora though.
He tases
He
Gamora.
like straight
Yeah,
up
he
tases
nuts.
Gamora.
Ego pleads with Peter to stop the bomb, or else Peter will just be a normal human. Peter sees nothing wrong with that and lets the bomb go off. Ego's human form disintegrates as the rest of the planet starts to explode. Yondu flies by and grabs Peter. As they leave the planet's atmosphere, Yondu puts the suit on Peter to save him. Yondu then starts to freeze up in space, and Peter sadly watches him die.
Which Cameron, during that scene, tried to ruin it for us.
What?
That's not how the atmosphere works.
Oh, yeah.
Space works.
I mean, they were breathing oxygen, and then he just like busts out of the atmosphere,
Dude,
and
it's a
the
god
orbit
planet.
too. So whatever.
It's a god planet. Rules don't apply.
Yeah, there's a lot of physics stuff in there that was wrong.
There's
So
a lot of physics stuff that are wrong in all the movies.
In every movie, not just the
Yeah.
MCU. Just every
Every
movie.
Movie magic.
Physics don't matter.
So the
We're
Guardians.
glad you're here, Cameron.
I mean,
Okay.
it is a sad death scene.
No, it is. It is
sad, yeah.
That hit me in the theater. I was not expecting
Yeah.
him to die
Got you
because
right in
like
the field.
they had the I believe it was also in the trailer
Hmm.
when Rocket, where Groot says, "I am Groot,"
Oh,
and
but he
then
didn't
Rocket's
say
like,
freaking?
"Yeah, welcome
Yeah.
to the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy." So I expected him to, be a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy and
Yeah.
show up in later movies, but then no, he just
No, that
dies.
was it.
I love that line too, where he goes, "Welcome to Guardians of the freaking Galaxy," except he didn't say freaking.
We need to talk about
Talk
your
about your
language.
ass.
Yeah. And so Peter, in the space of all but 2 minutes, loses both of his father figures.
Yeah, that'll mess somebody up for sure.
Yeah, as you
But
see in
But
Infinity
it's
War.
also resolved. It's also resolved too because then he says, he ain't your, he might be your father, but he ain't your daddy, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that just like hits a lot. I think that's like something a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that someone, at least in my opinion, anyone who did athletics, they can relate to that immediately. I think. Which I know.
yeah,
Look
none
at
of
you
us.
two.
We're just-
Look at you two guys. It's like, well,
Though
I'm
we
the only
we
one.
did say that like out of that context and not being said by Michael Rooker, that line doesn't really work. But in that context,
Oh,
it works
yeah.
perfectly. But like you say that in a different
Yeah, I mean, how would you feel if I said that to you right now?
wasn't your
let's
daddy.
no.
But it works with him because that's
Yeah.
the way he talks.
Yeah.
Well, it's the way the character talks.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably the way Michael Rooker talks.
Yeah.
You know.
And that was that moment, that's that kind of resolution of the Guardians of the Galaxy are not just a band of guardians; they are a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
Rocket was like, because even Drax was like, "Where's Quill? Rocket, where's Quill?" And then they just take off.
Right, and there's the moment
They're all
where
looking for-
Nebula says like none of you are friends, you're constantly fighting, and then I think it's Drax says
Yeah.
like we're not friends, we're family.
family.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it is Drax
Yeah.
that says that.
Exactly.
I mean, really though, you think about it, like at least in my opinion, I don't fight with my friends that often. My family though, we are always fighting about
Oh, yeah.
something.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
We're always yelling at each other.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense. A lot more sense.
A lot of more sense.
A lot
I
now.
more.
use words good.
So the Guardians prepare to give Yondu a proper Ravager funeral. Kraglin gives Peter a Zune to make up for his lost Walkman,
300 songs.
which Yondu had been meaning to give to him for a while. In return, Peter gives Kraglin Yondu's arrow, feeling that Yondu would have wanted him to take it. Nebula sets off to hunt Thanos down herself, and we see how well that goes.
Yep.
But not before reconciling with Gamora. Mantis decides to stay with the Guardians. As Yondu's body goes up to space, the Guardians see dozens of other Ravager ships arriving to pay their respects to Yondu.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
That was a really cool scene.
I love like hyper specific ritualistic
Space stuff.
space. Not necessarily space, but
ceremonies.
funeral scenes.
Oh, okay.
Like when it's like hyper like specific, like
Yeah.
Viking. This is like a Viking funeral,
In
a
space.
pirate funeral, and
A Jedi funeral.
a Jedi funeral,
Yeah.
all in
All in
one,
one,
and they
yeah.
all involve fire. But they cremate him, and his ashes go out into space, and then everyone lets off these fireworks.
Yeah.
And it's like it's obviously got some sort of cultural or maybe even
Well,
religious significance.
And it shows that he redeemed himself
Yeah.
with the Ravagers.
'Cause,
They're all
yeah.
like, you know what, you did good.
Stallone brings that up before in the beginning. It was like, "Here's ashes and those lights.
The
of
Ravagers will
blood."
never shine on you or something.
Yeah.
Like that. It's hard to understand.
The horns of whatever will never sound dead. Yeah.
Stallone. He was really happy to be in that movie, I'm sure.
Stallone?
Yeah.
I love Stallone.
Have you seen the bloopers for the movie?
No.
Oh my god! So it's on Where Streams Come True, where they say where the
On Disney
suggested
Plus?
extra. Yeah.
Oh, my kid's
Or not,
like, what?
Sorry. Streams Come True is the podcast. My
That's
bad.
the show you're on,
on
B.
Disney Plus.
It has
I just-
the,
yeah, it has the
that's
bloopers.
awesome.
That's cool.
And he kept saying stuff that he could not say Ravagers for the life of him. He kept saying Revengers.
Did they? I wonder if they just ADR'd it then.
I was wondering too, because then the next time I saw it, I kept looking to see how they played out that scene. He eventually did say
He got it.
Yeah, it just took him forever.
That's
So
hilarious.
funny.
And he's
It's
so typical of
Ravagers.
Sly.
Stallone.
Yeah, and
He got hit in
he-
the head a few too many
He,
times
he,
in his
he
past
said
life.
Jedi a couple times for whatever reason.
We need him in a Star Wars movie.
I would love.
I would
to see
love
him
that.
as
Like
bad-
some old Jedi.
No, old Sith, dude.
Oh,
you
yeah.
gotta make him a bad guy.
That would be dope.
That'd be
don't know.
awesome.
So that brings us to
I
the
don't know
end
about
of the
that.
movie.
Yeah.
Or does it? We got 5 end credit scenes.
Because it's a Marvel movie.
First one, Kraglin tries to practice using the arrow. He doesn't quite get the hang of it, and he ends up sticking Drax. Stakar honors Yondu's sacrifice, these names, by forming his own team with Martinix Tanaga, played by Michael Rosenbaum, Charlie 27, played by Ving Rhames, Starhawk, played by Michelle Yeoh, and Mainframe, played by Miley Cyrus.
Michelle Yeoh.
Naturally.
Ving Rhames.
The
Who's
talking robot head.
No way.
This is Miley Cyrus,
I
yeah.
did not know
Wait,
that.
what?
Yeah.
No, that
What?
She's like, I love you guys.
Don't
Wow.
ruin this movie for me. That's
think-
right. I said that. Miley
Just one of 5
I love
end credit
Miley
scenes.
Cyrus.
I'm sorry. And the next, well, like the significance of that is that those 5
They become
were
their own
they were
Guardians-esque team.
in comics they were the
Yeah.
first team under the title Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh,
They were
okay.
the original run was those 5.
The one comic that nobody read.
Yeah, and,
Dude, no one read the Avengers either.
yeah, and then like Yondu got added to
Really?
the roster,
Yeah.
but like Yondu used a bow and arrow and it was a whole thing. Next, Aisha and another Sovereign discuss their new plan to take down the Guardians. We see Aisha sitting by a birthing pod, waiting to break out whatever is inside to use against the Guardians. She
Oh.
decides to call it Adam, as in Adam Warlock.
Oh boy. Too bad we don't hear
Sure.
anything. about
Anyone
we haven't heard
here?
anything else about Adam Warlock.
Any significance to you of Adam Warlock?
Adam Warlock?
No.
He's like.
Everyone
a
thought
super
that he would-
powerful. He's like a cosmic entity.
Yeah.
He's an Eternal, I think.
Yeah, everyone thought that he would be a major player in Infinity War Endgame because
think-
in the comics he uses the Soul Stone.
Well, I think everyone probably was secretly hoping that he would have more or less taken the place of Captain Marvel. We would have gotten an Adam Warlock movie before we got a Captain Marvel movie.
Possibly.
Is Adam Warlock a hero?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He and a villain.
Is he? I just know
Yeah,
him
he's
as
a
a
bit
hero.
of a bit of both. He's a like Silver Surfer.
Oh, okay.
Type
I'm
thing.
just glad we haven't gotten to get into the comic book lore.
Mhm.
I'm glad we haven't gotten a like Molecule Man or the real
Or Doorman. We need Doorman. Or Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl?
Yeah, we
Dude,
need
we
Squirrel
need
Girl.
Squirrel Girl.
We do need Squirrel
We
Girl.
legit do.
But like a
She's
real
just so
Scarlet
broken.
Witch.
She beats like everybody
She's defeated Galactus and Thanos and
But
for no reason.
By herself.
No reason.
I hope that eventually they
interesting.
give Scarlet Witch her actual powers.
yeah.
The reality warp.
I'm
powers.
guessing that's going to be WandaVision.
I hope not. Dude, House of M would be such a good MCU movie.
I mean, that's probably how they're going to introduce. They're going to like do a reverse House of M, where instead of like removing all mutants,
that's how they introduce.
they introduce them. We'll see. And the next one, Peter. Groot is now a teenager. Peter scolds him for leaving his roots
That's
lying
a
around,
funny-
and Groot just mocks him playing video games. That's where we see the form that he takes in
I
Infinity War and
agree.
Endgame. I don't like teenage Groot. that
I do.
much.
Yeah,
think
I
Teenage
don't
Groot's
like him either.
hilarious.
And in the
So
last one,
lerpy.
the last end credit scene, the elderly Stan Lee, in his obligatory cameo, is sitting with the Watchers,
That's a second
discussing
cameo.
his obligatory.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Second cameo is sitting with the Watchers, discussing his previous adventures, but they
knows
become
I'm right.
bored and leave him.
It's not really.
Involvement.
Real quick,
Yes.
what is everyone's favorite Stan Lee cameo? I know mine. I have mine immediately. That's why I brought it up.
Infinity War.
Okay.
What was the Infinity War?
Where when Peter's on the school bus and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, have you guys never seen a spaceship before?"
I like that one.
I know what yours is.
Yeah. What about yours? Well, you don't
Um,
watch Marvel movies,
Yeah, I do.
so probably this one.
I just don't like them. I watch them.
don't
Mine's
like
probably
you, but we
from
watch them.
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, when he cuts Thor's hair.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the guy who cuts Thor's hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, they like pull him back to the thing, and he
Yeah, he's
pulls
like-
out that weird device that's got all these like things on
It's
him.
like my hands
He's
aren't
like,
as steady
"Hold
as they
still."
used to be.
So mine, and this is the reason why I brought it up. Mine is from Spider-Man: Enter the Spider-Verse, because it's right after he passed away,
I don't
and-
remember that one.
and he's the one who sells Miles a Spider-Man costume, and he says, "I'm sure gonna miss him."
Oh.
And you're sitting in the theater just going,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna miss you."
Yeah, and he's like, "Will it
Will it fit?
He's like, "It always fits."
Yeah. You're just like, man, Stan, dude. That got me right in the feels, man.
And because the one right before that was Captain Marvel, where I don't remember exactly what he does.
He's just
Yeah.
like reading a script
He's
on a
reading
train or
he's
something
reading a
like that, yeah.
comic or something.
That's right. He is
Something,
reading
yeah.
a comic.
And he
yeah.
says "true believer" as part of
Something
the line
weird,
or
yeah.
something. That one was rough.
But that
But-
one in Spider-Man just, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and I grew up reading the Spider-Man comics.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I don't want, no.
Yeah, I'm sad that he's gone.
Me too.
So
Way to bring this down.
Moment of the movie. Moment of the movie will begin same side of the table with our guest.
So my favorite part is the Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I'm Mary Poppins.
You look
yeah.
like Mary Poppins. Is Mary Poppins cool?
Heck yeah, he's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then like that's that moment where he like switches, from making fun of Yondu to like looking at Yondu like, yeah, Mary Poppins is cool.
My moment of the
Practicing.
movie is the sequence where they're fighting Ego and things are bad, and then it goes to Sean Gunn's character in the ship, and he sees all of the Sovereigns show up, and then just go down to the Earth. And he's like, yeah, remember those Sovereign guys? Then he looks to the side, and they're all there. And it's like, oh no! And it's just like, you thought things were bad? Well, guess what? These bad
Yeah.
guys are here too.
So mine, I love the hero shot. They're all standing there and circling around, get back, like start at Mantis, circle around, get back there, and she just gets hammered by a rock.
Yeah.
So funny. I was watching that in the theater, sitting next to my girlfriend at the time. That happened. I laughed so hard, and she just started smacking me. She was so mad at me for laughing at that scene. I'm like,
Yeah.
why are you mad at this?
What?
It's hilarious.
And I
Yeah.
brought up that I didn't laugh at it because it was spoiled for me in the trailer
And see,
when she gets hit in the head.
but
You pointed out like the whole trailer
yeah, you
throughout the
did.
movie.
Cameron and I
Yeah.
both do this thing with trailers, and you need to adopt it.
Of not watching them?
Not watching the trailers.
I
Yeah.
need to
If it's
because
a
this whole movie, I was
if
like,
it's a
oh yeah, that
movie
was in the trailer.
I know I'm going
that
to
was in
see.
the trailer.
I
That was
don't
in the
watch
trailer.
the trailers. I didn't do it with Star Wars. I don't watch the trailers. I'd rather see the whole thing in theaters.
Yeah.
Cameron.
Okay,
Jackson.
so my favorite part,
You actually have a favorite part to this?
I don't know. My
Or
most
your
favorite
least
part is
favorite
just the
part.
soundtrack.
You can do a least favorite.
My most favorite part is just like the soundtrack of the thing.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose a scene, it would be the escape scene where like
Oh,
he gets
when they
the
kill.
arrow and goes out the whole
just-
thing.
it goes-
Yeah.
Cinematic.
That was a really cool scene.
Also in the trailer.
And shut up. And it shows them above too, and you see it going.
Yeah,
throughout
when it
the
goes
whole
out of the ship and you just see the
that
whole-
was a
yeah.
really cool shot for sure.
So, ready for some film information statistics before we get into the ranking.
Sure.
Written and directed by James Gunn.
Wait, is this a
Released-
90%?
We'll get
What?
there. Released 5th of May 2017, so it was a summer release. They have the May slot for pretty much every year. Gross earnings, this one did not break $1 billion. It was 863 million
That's wow.
and change for worldwide gross.
That's still awesome.
It's
though.
pretty
How
good.
much? What was the film budget? Do you have that?
No, I don't.
Oh,
I'll add that.
that would be cool to.
I thought you tried to find that on the first couple.
You
and
don't do
couldn't.
that?
Maybe.
why we
There
don't
was
do
some
that.
that I couldn't get the earnings because they were just streaming.
TV.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
TV, yeah. The runtime, longest movie for us so far, 2 hours and 16 minutes. Pretty good. It's
I'm
IMDb.
glad that was the longest one though. Because
Yeah.
if those other ones were about
Yeah.
216,
I would have
uh-uh.
died. The IMDb score is 7.6 out of 10. I'll bring this
7. Interesting.
over to here, which is the highest
Yeah.
there, and probably where we're gonna put it.
Yeah.
Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes is 85% audience, 87%. No, 85% critics, 87% audience.
Interesting.
Nice.
So where? I know where I want to put it. Number 1.
Number 1.
Do you
Oh,
agree?
is this ranked?
This is our ranking.
of,
Yeah.
of what we've watched so far.
Oh yeah, I would say number.
Yeah, number 1.
I think it's number 1 by a lot. Like, can we do number 1 then make Finding
I would
Dory
say
like
by a
7?
lot.
No.
Finding Dory's awesome.
Well, I'm keeping Finding Dory 2017 with
I
a.
love Pixar, and I love Dory.
There we go. It's their number 1. Just imagine it there.
Okay, I was like,
That's
no,
not.
no, it's not.
This is not interactive.
not live. Got
I'm
it.
sorry. There's a way to do it, but I didn't figure it out in time.
Nah, don't worry about it.
So our
We have our next wheel.
next wheel was submitted via email by Sophia. Thank you, Sophia.
Sophia Figueroa?
I don't know. I believe the last initial was L.
Oh, man.
And it is
That'd have
a
been dope.
Marvel. It is a Marvel animated wheel. So from
Oh, that's right.
the animated Marvel collection.
Did you put Ultimate Spider-Man on that?
No, because it's not on there.
Yeah, they don't have any of the
It's
good
animated Spider-Man, dude.
Yeah.
And Drake Bell voices Spider-Man.
I don't make the rules. I just
Yeah, you do. It's your show.
I make the rules, but I don't make. I don't. Disney Plus makes the collections,
Okay.
and so who? I guess we could have our guest.
Yeah, I think we should have our guest
Spin the wheel.
All right,
All right, so
The wheel's
it is.
over
It's
there.
right over there.
Yeah.
gotcha. Fun.
All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Spin that wheel. Click, 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 click.
Already. You don't need to say the click
I
because it
want to
actually
say the
makes
click.
that noise.
I am voicing,
well,
imitating it.
No
looking
voicing
at
your
the
opinions.
wheel, we have the Incredible Hulk from 1996.
The live action?
No,
He said Marvel animated.
I know, that's why I'm confused.
Yeah, I
so
am
the
too.
Incredible Hulk from 96. It had 1 season.
Oh boy. How
So
many episodes?
Oh no,
How
it's
many-
a show?
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a show?
Oh no.
it had
Just
20,
one
21
season.
episodes.
Yeah, that means it didn't make it very fun.
21 episodes.
How many episodes are we
We have to watch like
watching?
3 hours of this.
Each episode is 22 minutes.
We could probably crank through the whole season.
We could probably
if
crank through the whole
wanted to.
season, yeah.
That's a lot of sitting in the studio watching that.
All right, well.
Let me know when you watch the next movie.
There, The Incredible Hulk from 1996.
Oh no.
It's gonna be a show, guys.
It looks like Lou Ferrigno.
It kind of does. Yeah, the Return of the Beast.
Oh boy.
Raw Power and some blood.
Hey, we got some Ghost Rider. here?
Okay, maybe
That's
it's
cool.
good. Maybe.
I got some
The
Thor.
Thing, She-Hulk.
When
What is
Gigo?
this show?
Wendigo, Doom.
No, when Gigo.
When Gigo. Oh, sorry.
When research scientist Bruce Banner is blasted with a gun of rain during the environment.
Yeah.
That- you know, okay.
This like reminds me of my childhood.
I might be about this show.
Dude, yeah, we have to watch the whole season because I want to see what that's all about.
I might be about.
Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, B, for guest starring
you.
on our little show here.
Thank you.
Oh, round of
I had a
applause
lot
for her.
of fun.
If you liked this show, which of course you did, please
You're still
review.
here.
Please give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever podcast service you use to listen. If they don't use stars, then give us the max.
5 out of 5 controllers.
And most of all, share it with your friends. You
And
can
family.
send your reviews or comments to WhereStreamsComeTrue@gmail.com. You can submit a wheel, such as a category like Marvel Animated, or a search term, such as Kurt Russell, on Disney Plus. And if you send in your review, we may read it on the show. And cut.
Wow, okay.
Hard cut at the end.
All right, cut it.
No.